horizontal mattress stitch can be used to sew your squares together if you've cast them on separately. Horizontal mattress stitch involves taking the needle under stitches just below the cast off edge on the lowest square and just above the cast on edge on the square above it. Beginning at the side edge, you start by taking the needle through the middle of the edge stitch just below the cast off edge. The needle comes in from the back towards the front. On the square above it, you take your needle under the whole of the edge stitch. So the needle's coming out of the work between the first and the second stitch. Draw the yarn through, leaving a short tail. Next, you take your needle in through the middle of the edge stitch where the yarn is coming out, and you take your needle under 2 legs or 2 bars. So your needle will be coming out of the work in the middle of the next stitch in. On the upper square, you put your needle into the same gap where the yarn's coming out of, and you're going under a whole stitch. That's like 2 legs. So we're working with it slightly offset. We started with through half a stitch, 1 stitch, and then we've gone under the equivalent of 1 whole stitch by going under 2 legs here and 2 legs or a whole stitch here. And from now on we're going to repeat that, going into the work from the top of the work where the yarn came out, under 2 legs, then on the upper square into the same gap where the yarn's coming out of, and under 2 legs. 2 legs being the equivalent of 1 whole stitch. When you've worked a short distance, pull firmly on both ends and you will see that the yarn then tightens up and it pulls the seam together. When you're ready to get going again, just pull back gently on the seam so it opens up, needle into the same gap and under 2 legs. Needle into the same gap, under 2 legs. You repeat this all the way across the work until you get to the end of the 2 squares. Pull tightly on both ends of yarn so that the seam closes up properly. If one square has more stitches than the square above or beneath it, you will need to ease when you're sewing these edges together. So you can do that by taking your needle under 2 legs on the square that's got the consistent number of stitches, but you could go under 3 legs on the square above, back under 2 legs on the square below, and under 3 legs again on the square above, and that would have eased in 1 whole extra stitch. So that was going under 2 legs on the square below, 3 legs on the square above, 2 legs on the square below, and 3 legs on the square above, easing 1 whole stitch from the upper square into the lower square. Then you continue on as normal, taking your needle under 2 legs at a time until you need to ease again. On the reverse side of the work, you will see that the cast on edge and the cast off edge of these 2 squares has been taken into the seam. And if you look very closely, you can see there the stitching, but it's completely invisible on the right side of the work.